Om Tvameva Mata cha Pita Tvameva Bandhuscha Sakha Tvameva Vidya Dravinam Tvameva Sarvam Mama Deva Deva Sri Dakshinamurti Sudeshikendram Dvaipayanam Sutrakritam Munindram Sri Shankaram Bhashyakritam Yatindram Maddeshi Kanchapi Namami Vidyai Om Namo Brahmadibhyo Brahma Vidya Sampradaya Kartribhyo Vamsarishibhyo Mahatmyo Namo Gurubhyah Sarvopaplavarahita Pragyana Ganaha Pratyagarto Brahmaivahamasmi Om Prapanna Parijataya Totra Vetraikapanaye Jnana Mudraya Krishnaya Gita Mrutaduhe Namaha. Pranams everyone. So we are in the third chapter, Sloka number 8. Shri Bhagavanuvacha Niyatam Kuru Karmatvam Karmajyayo Hya Karmanah Sharirayatra Pichate Na Prasiddhyeda Karmanah. So Bhagavan is continuing his answer to Arjuna. Arjuna's initial question was, if jnana is superior to karma, why are you asking me to indulge in karma? Then Bhagavan initially did not answer that, and he asked Bhagavan to give a straight answer on whether to take up jnana or karma. Bhagavan did not give a straight answer. He first explained, he gave the base foundation for actually making sure that Arjuna understands what the real attitude or the real next step that he has to take. So initially he basically said about the two nishtas, the two lifestyles and the two sadhanas. In Sloka 3 he gave those two nishtas and two sadhanas, and then to Arjuna specifically, because he was trying to avoid action, he was trying to run away from the battlefield. In Sloka 4, 5 and 6, Bhagavan warned about running away from action. In Sloka 4, he said, by avoiding action, one will not get liberation. So if you are looking for moksha, mukti, just by avoiding action, you are not going to get it. And then in Sloka 5, he said, action cannot be avoided at all. And then in Sloka 6, he said, if you try to avoid action, you will end up as a hypocrite. So therefore, avoidance of action is not an option at all. And in Sloka 7, he said, because avoidance of action is not an option, you will have to perform action, but you perform that action with an attitude. And he said, perform Karma Yoga. And because he said perform Karma Yoga, now in Sloka 8 onwards, he is explaining what is Karma Yoga. So the first one we saw, or before we went into that, we saw there are actions can be divided into two types. One, Raaga-Dvesha Janyam Karma, actions that arise out of our likes and dislikes. And then Kartavya Buddhi Janyam Karma, actions that arise out of what needs to be done, out of duties and responsibilities. Raaga-Dvesha Janyam Karma can be further divided into three types of karmas. Nishiddha Karma, meaning those actions that should not be performed at all, that Shastras prohibit. Then Prayashchitta Karma. Prayashchitta Karma is the karma or the action that we do to avoid getting into sorrows or painful situations. And then the third one is Kaamya Karma. Kaamya Karma are the actions that arise out of our desires. And in that, the Shastra's position is, with regards to Nishiddha Karma, it should be totally avoided. it should not be performed. For prayashchitta karma, it should be reduced as much as possible. We should try to avoid doing prayashchitta karma. We should use the pain and sorrow for spiritual growth and strengthening our mind. And Kaamya Karma is okay to start with in the initial stages. So those are the three types of karmas within Raaga-Dvesha Janyam Karma. Under Kartavya Buddhi Janyam Karma, we saw there are two types of karmas. One, Nimitta Karma and Naimittika Karma. Nitya Karma and Naimittika Karma. Nitya Karma Nitya Karma are those that have to be performed compulsorily. These are mandatory duties that have to be performed. Naimittika means that those are also compulsory actions that have to be performed due to a situation. Nimitta matram karma. So Nitya Karma and Naimittika Karma are those two types of actions that fall under Kartavya Buddhi Janyam Karma. And here Bhagavan says, Niyatam Kuru Karmatvam. Niyatam Karma are those that are mandatory karmas. Nitya Karma and Naimittika Karma are considered Niyatam Karma. And Bhagavan says, Tvam Kuru. You must perform those actions. There are no escape. There should not be any escape. You should perform it without bringing your likes and dislikes in it. So perform those Kartavya Buddhi Janyam karmas. And this is the first definition of Karma Yoga. There is going to be a series of definitions or series of what we'll call as identifiers for Karma Yoga. What is Karma Yoga? One identifier is performing all duties and actions, irrespective of whether you like it or not, is Karma Yoga. So Bhagavan here he says, Niyatam Kuru Karmatvam. Now the next question that will come to us is, how will I know what are my duties? There are many things to know here. How will I know what are my duties? The answer for it is, the real truth be said is, no one needs to tell ourselves what our duties are. We know it ourselves. For example, do I need someone else to tell me whether I am hungry or not? No, it is evident for me. It is pratyaksham for me. When Bhagavan made this body, he also made sure that I become aware of, or I become aware whenever my stomach gets empty. I am aware of it. Thus, everyone is born with this knowledge. Everyone is born with this knowledge of not just this, everyone is born with the knowledge of what is dharma, what is adharma also. Each one of us, we are aware of what is dharma, what is adharma. Then there could be somebody who can ask, but I see a lot of people, they seem to have no knowledge of dharma or adharma. What is the answer for that kind of question? We'll give an example and then say what happens in those situations. Let's take this hunger example again. I am hungry. I am able to realize when I am hungry, when my stomach is empty. Suppose if a person has ulcer in the stomach, then that person will not be able to know when that person is hungry or not, whether the person is hungry or not, when the stomach gets empty or not. The reason being, there is a disease that covers the natural power, the natural awareness, or the knowledge that we have inherent. So there is a disease that could cover the knowledge. And that's why that person may not be aware of the situation when he is hungry. Because what is the disease? The ulcer. In the same way, if our intellect is inflicted with a disease called delusion, moha, then the intellect loses its discriminative power. At that point of time, the intellect will not be able to differentiate between what is dharma, what is adharma. Not that the person does not have this knowledge, just that the knowledge has been covered by the disease called moha or delusion. And at that point of time, if you go and tell the person what is dharma or adharma, will they be able to understand it? No, they will not be able to understand it at that moment. They will take it wrongly. They will understand it in a viparita manner. But for a normal person, for a person with a normal buddhi, we need not tell him what must be done, what must not be done. That person will know on their own. And what sort of response should I have in this world? It is all about the response that I should have in this world, isn't it? I mean, I have a certain expectation from this world, and therefore I should behave in the same manner with the world. This is called as samanya dharma. Samanya dharma is very easy to understand. There should not be any doubt in it. For example, what is samanya dharma? Whatever I don't want from others, I should not be giving it to others. Whatever I expect from others is the same that I should be giving to others. For example, we would not like others to steal from us. We would not like others to cheat us. Therefore, don't steal, don't cheat. I don't want my things to be stolen. I don't want to be cheated. I don't want people to criticize me. I expect people to forgive my mistakes. I don't want others to discuss about my family matters. I don't want people to gossip about me. So, what should I do? I should not lie. I should not hurt others. I should not scold others. I should be more forgiving. I should not speak ill of others. I should not gossip. So, in any transaction, what we should do is we should put ourselves in that person's shoes and do what I would expect if I am in that shoes. The same thing can be done positively also. I want people to be nice and polite to me. So I should be polite to others. I want people to help me. Then I should be helping others as well. Whatever is anishta for me, it is anishta for others too. That is why even when a thief wants to steal something and he wants somebody to help him out, he is looking for a honest partner. Because he does not want to be cheated. So whatever we expect from others is what others expect from us also. For this we don't need shastras, we don't need Vedas, we don't need religion. It's very evident, it's awareness. Bhagavan has given us this knowledge. So nobody can claim that I don't know Samanya Dharma. So Samanya Dharma is easy to understand. Now there is something called, Shastras have also given something called Visesha Dharma. Visesha Dharma is based on Varna and Ashrama. What is Varna, what is Ashrama? We had seen this earlier. There are 4 Varnas and 4 Ashramas. Now, today the Varna Ashrama may not be in the same format as what was in the Vedic period. Especially the Ashrama we had Brahmacharya, Grahastha, Vanaprastha, Sannyasa. But today we have the same kind of broad categories today also. We have the student period, then we have the family life period, then the Vanaprastha is equal to the retired life period. So those things have already been there. Maybe the sannyasa is not there anymore. People used to take up sannyasa after Grihastha and Vanaprastha. That may not be popular these days. But there is retired life, which is the equivalent of Vanaprastha. And if we extend it further, we can extend it for sannyasa also. So the concept has not changed much. The Shastras have been, there are people who have this feeling that Shastras are outdated. No, it is not. Shastras will not be impractical. Shastras will never talk about impractical things. As I said in the last class, Shastras will not say do not eat fire, do not swallow fire, do not eat mud. Those kind of things are impractical. That Shastras will never say. Shastras will only say things that are practical. It will say do not harm others, do not drink alcohol, those kind of things only. So now we all know, have an overall view of dharma. But still what happens is our Vedas, our Dharma Shastras, they provide details on what is dharma, what is adharma, what are the samanya dharma, what are the visesha dharma. Shastras still teach us those things. And our elders also teach us on dharma, teach us dharma. In fact, in a few slokas from here, Bhagavan is going to tell us on the different ways that we get to know what is dharma. We will see that in later slokas. So here, Bhagavan says, perform dharma. Niyatam kuru karma means perform your duties, perform your samanya duties, perform your visesha duties, depending on which ashrama or which varna you are in. Niyatam karma kuru. This is the first sutra vakya for Karma Yoga. We had already seen Yoga Karmasu Kaushalam as one of the sutra vakyas for Karma Yoga. So here we can take it as Niyatam Karma Kuru. That is another sutra vakya for karma. Then we also seen Samatvam Yoga Uchyate. That is also another sutra vakya for Karma Yoga. So this is the third sutra vakya if we see. So what are the three? The first one is Yoga Karmasu Kaushalam. Second one, Samatvam Yoga Uchyate. Now, Niyatam Kuru Karma. Niyatam Karma Kuru. This is the third one. So, Niyatam Kuru Karmatvam. Bhagavan says, perform your obligatory duties. Perform your mandatory duties. Niyatam Kuru Karmatvam Karma Jyayo Hya Karmanaha. So the second part of the sloka, Bhagavan says, Karma Jyayo Hi Akarmanaha. He means for Karma Jyayaha. Karma means action. Jyayaha means is superior. Action is superior. Shreshtaha. Action is superior to what? Akarmanaha. Action is superior to inaction. So Bhagavan says, perform your obligatory duties, for action is superior to inaction. Now why is Bhagavan saying like this? After all, because we know Shastras, I said in the last class also, na karmana, na prajaya, na dhanena, na tyage, na karmana, na prajaya, dhanena, tyagena eke. There it says na karmana. Karma will not give us moksha. But here Bhagavan says action is superior to inaction. What could be the reason? Because Bhagavan gives the reason in the second line. He says, Sharira yatra pichate. na prasidhyedak akarmanah. Apicha sharira yatra. Apicha means even the what? Sharira yatra. Sharira yatra means sharira means body. Yatra means journey. We can consider, which means the life's journey, the body's journey, or in other words, the maintenance of the body. Even for the maintenance of the body, na prasidhyet. Na prasidhyet means would not be possible. Would not be possible. Te means for you. It would not be possible from by what? Doing what? Akarmanah, from inaction. Even the maintenance of the body would not be possible for you from inaction. If you remain inactive, even maintenance of the body is not possible. Why do we say yatra first? Sharira yatra. Because this life is only a journey. It is a journey from one death to another death. Then from that death to another death. We just take different bodies in between. But it is a journey. Or we can say, if death is very negative, we can say from one birth to another birth. From one birth to another birth. It's a journey. So even for this journey, action is necessary to maintain the body. If we resort to inaction, even living in this world will become impossible. Sharira yatra pichate. Even the journey of life, even the procurement of the minimum needs like food, clothing, shelter, whatever, it will not be possible if we do not do any action. Suppose if a person argues, no, I need not act even for procuring the minimum needs because I have got ancestral property, wealth, whatever, Purvika wealth. Suppose is that I have to not do nothing, I can eat, fill up, I can eat whatever I want, whenever I want, I need not work at all. Then also you see, for maintaining the physical body, one has to walk, one has to do some bit of exercise or action to keep the body. It cannot be sitting idle. Cholesterol will be deposited, fat will be deposited, there will be a problem. Action is inevitable for at least maintaining the body. Forget sitting. I mean, even these days, a lot of people, when they take the car, the doctors advise, try to walk for some time. Keep the car sometime. They go and keep the car, park the car sometime, and then walk. Because maintaining the body requires action. Livelihood, we have to work in this world. So action is indeed superior to inaction. So Bhagavan says, Arjuna, niyatam kuru karma. Tvam karma kuru. You perform action. What type of action? Niyatam karma. You do those actions which are prescribed in the scriptures as compulsory duties. And Bhagavan says, niyatam kuru. Bhagavan uses a commandment as a kind of a order. Do it. And he says it, do it only those that are mandatory duties. For those that are non-mandatory actions, as I said, whether it is Nishida Karma, Prayashchita Karma or Kaamya Karma, the treatment is different. For the mandatory duties and responsibilities, do it, perform it. So Bhagavan has given the first sutra in this chapter for Karma Yoga here. In the next sloka, Bhagavan is going to give the attitude by which we have to perform these actions. The attitude that one must have when performing these actions. This is also part of Karma Yoga. So we'll see here. Sloka number 9. Yajñartat karmanonyatra lokoyam karma bandhanah tadartam karma kaunteya mukta sangas samachara. Yajñartat karmanonyatra lokoyam karma bandhanah tadartam karma kaunteya mukta sangas samachara. So, as I said here, Bhagavan talks about the attitude that one should have when performing duties. Why this attitude is important? Because in general, whenever we perform an action, the action binds us. Karma bandhakam. Every action that we perform will result in some likes or dislikes that will enter our mind. And it will keep accumulating. Every action. That's why we see a child does not have so much of likes and dislikes. But as we grow older, the net of the wide net that we have cast on this world will have so many likes and dislikes. Whether it comes to food, people, places, situation, everything, possessions, I only like this. I don't like that. I like this only. I like that person. I dislike that person. And we use this word called hate also. Our Shastra says do not use the word hate at all. Even if you want to say something, you say dislike. I don't like. Don't use it. I hate. People use this word. I hate chemistry. I hate coconut. I hate ice cream. Shastra says never use the word hate. So we have this, as we grow older, we have cast this net of likes and dislikes. It's a wide likes and dislikes. So child may not have, 20-year-old may have only a limited likes and dislikes, but by the time we grow old, an 80-year-old will have so many likes and dislikes. And so much so that some 80-year-old person might even say, do not trust anyone. Trust nobody in this world. Why? And that person will claim it is their experience. It is not their experience. They have not earned any experience. They have just earned likes and dislikes. They have been transacting for so many years, and what they have earned, likes and dislikes. As we grow old, the likes and dislikes will show up as worries. That's why Shankaracharya says in Bhaja Govindam, Vriddhastavat Chintasaktah, Balastavat Kridasaktah, Vriddhastavat Chintasaktah. As we grow old, worry is the only thing that occupies our mind. And worry comes because we have separated this world. Raaga-Dvesha, likes, dislikes. Why am I saying this? Because in general, whatever action we perform will create these likes and dislikes in the mind. That is the nature of action. The nature of action is such that it will bind us. So here Bhagavan is giving us a method by which the actions that we perform not only not bind us, it will also help in removing the bondage. So the method is basically an attitude. The attitude that one must have when performing these actions so that the actions do not bind us. On the other hand, it helps us to get liberated. And this attitude should be on what type of action? We are now going to discuss about this niyatam karmani bhavana. Niyatam karma ka bhavana. What should be our attitude for all those obligatory duties? When we say obligatory duties, all the Samanyaka Dharma and all the Vishesha Dharma. What are the Vishesha Dharma? If I am a student, what is my duty? If I am a householder, what is my duty? If I am a retired person, what is my duty? If I am a housewife, what is my duty? If my parent, what is a duty? If I am a child, I've got my parents as a son or a daughter, what is my duty? As a neighbor, what is my duty? As a citizen, what is my duty? As an employer, what is my duty? As a boss, what is my duty? As an employee, what is my duty? As a neighbor, what is my duty? As a friend, what is my duty? Whatever duty I have, every role that I play in the society has got certain duties. And what sort of attitude should I have when performing these duties? That is what Bhagavan is going to give here. And we have already seen that in the second chapter, but anyway we'll go through again. The first attitude, the first bhavana that we should have when we perform our duties, the first one, do not have any expectation on the result. Remember, I'm talking only with regards to the duties. Do not have any expectation on the result. No expectation on whatever the result of our action, those actions that we consider ourselves to be our duties, our responsibility. As a responsible husband, as a responsible wife, what should I do? Don't have any expectation back. As a responsible parent, as a responsible child, what are my duties? Don't have any expectations on that. So, what about other actions? What sort of attitude should I have? We'll come to it later. Now we are only talking about duties and responsibilities. Whatever is considered to be my duty, my responsibility, I should limit myself to doing just the duty. I should not have expectation on the results. Duties should not have any expectation. And how can I cultivate that kind of an attitude? If somebody asks, it's very easy. Suppose I have taken a loan from someone, and then when we have to repay the loan, now what sort of attitude will we have when we repaying the loan? Either it should be neutral, okay, I have got this from him, I have to give it back. Or it will be with a sense of gratitude. Oh, you have helped me in my difficult times, I am happy that you have helped me, now I am repaying it with a sense of gratitude. This is the attitude that one must have when performing duties and responsibilities. Rinam, everything is a loan that we are repaying out because of our duties. Actually speaking, if we understand karma theory very well, whoever has come in this life, whomever we have actually are interacting in this world, and to whomever we have these responsibilities, duties that have been given, or we are in a position in such a way that we are positioned in such a way that we have to perform these actions or duties or responsibilities towards the others, that God has made that way, or Ishvara has made that way in such a way that we are able to give back that loan, rinam, from them. Bhagavan has given us an opportunity to pay back whatever we had received from this person in our previous lives. So we should do that. This is one way to look at it. So this should be the attitude that we should have while performing these duties and responsibilities. The fact that I have been able to repay properly, the fact that I am able to fulfill my responsibility, that itself is an achievement. It's not the result, whether they are saying thank you, whether they feel gratitude, whether they are able to show me back my affection, whether they are giving me back that love that I had showered on them, whether they are performing their duties back to me when their time comes. That is not the benchmark. The benchmark for us should be, I have been able to repay it properly. That is a sense of achievement. I have been able to perform this duty. That is an achievement. We wrongly think that duties and responsibilities is the first step, and then there is another step by which there will be another step called result. So this is an action, and then there will be a result. The results could be either they say thank you, or they have a sense of gratitude, or they do their duty back. No, that is not how it is. There should not be any more expectations beyond the action itself. We should not be expecting gratitude. We should not be expecting name, fame, nothing of that sort. If we do that, what happens is, it is no more a duty. It becomes a business transaction. I do something, you do something in back. It's a business transaction. And if we have an expectation, it cannot be called as a duty or responsibility anymore. So this is what happens. But there is one catch here. The catch here is, whenever we talk of duties, we also talk about rights. Whenever we talk about duties, we talk about rights. In general, what happens is, whenever we do a duty, there is some other person who benefits out of this duty. My duty becomes the other person's right. This is how our culture sees the duties and rights. In our constitution, in the majority of the Western democracies, they talk about only fundamental rights. They don't talk about fundamental duties. Only in our Shastras, we always say duties and rights coexist. One person's duty becomes another person's right. Now, when whatever is my duty, it becomes another person's right. So another person benefits out of it. So as I said, there is a catch, which means there could be a situation, or there will definitely be a situation where there are duties of others in which we benefit and we call it our right. For example, let's take a spouse, husband and wife. A husband's duty is there towards a wife, that is wife's right. And then there is a wife's duty towards husband, that becomes husband's right. Now we are only talking about one side of the coin. My duty, how I should do. Whether I should have look for a result, whether I should have an expectation, whether I should look for name, fame, whether I should feel happy that this person is showing me the gratitude back, those kind of things. What about the other side? Because everywhere, husband and wife, father and son, then we have son and wife, son and father also. Government's duties towards citizens' rights towards citizens' rights from the government. But then there are citizens' duties also towards the government. Every place there is always a relationship of symbiotic relationship. In general, what our attitude is, what we see is, we first check whether I have any rights from the other person. So I have duties, I see. I also see whether I have any rights from the other person. And only if I am sure that I will get my rights back, we do our duties towards that person properly. Because we think, okay, I will do my part of the bargain, you will do your part of your bargain. Because because I see this as a business transaction. And if I do not get any rights, then I will argue, and I will even fight, and I will even convince myself, why should I perform my duties towards you? So this is our mentality, this is our understanding, this is how we approach these things. Bhagavan says, no, don't do that. Bhagavan says, sacrifice your rights. Do your duty alone. This is what our Shastra says. Now, this could be seen as, am I being considered a fool? Am I being taken as a fool? What if I keep my duty, my side of duties? What if I don't get anything in return? Shastra says, do not worry. If everybody goes about doing their duties, rights are just a byproduct. It will automatically happen. When everybody does their duties properly, everyone gets their rights automatically. It's so nice to hear, but it is not straightforward, we know. Because there are three problems. Whenever we talk about duties and rights, whenever we talk about two sets of persons coming together and then there are rights and duties, there are three issues here. First problem that we see is not every reciprocal arrangement is equal. If you look at any, especially the teacher and student, the teacher gives more to the student than the student giving back to the teacher. So it's not always equal relationship. The reciprocal arrangement need not be equal at all. That's one thing that we see. For example, a daughter-in-law, can probably gives much more to the husband's parents and their in-law and her in-laws than probably the husband's parents giving back to the daughter-in-law, or the husband giving it to his in-laws. Or let us take another quick example. You go on the road, you see a wallet. You see somebody dropping a wallet. You see from behind. Now you pick up the wallet and give it to this person. Now you say, I have done my duty. Now where is your duty towards me? It doesn't happen. Not every arrangement is reciprocal. Not every arrangement is reciprocal. Not every reciprocal arrangement is equal also. That's number one problem that we have in these kind of situations. Second issue that we have is not every reciprocal arrangement is honored also. For example, you may do your side of things, but the other person may not do. For example, I am good neighbor. I don't make noise. I don't disturb the peace of the other person. But there could be the next door neighbor who might not be willing to honor his part of the commitment. So, not every reciprocal arrangement can be honored, need be honored. So that's the second problem. Third problem, so even if there is no reciprocal arrangement, the least that we expect at times is for the other person to show gratitude. We say, I have helped you, I have done it. At least tell me that I have helped you. You show me your gratitude. You say thank you. You don't even acknowledge. So we always find fault, I have done so much to this person. He has not even acknowledged that I have done so much to him. And that could be their son, or that could be their daughter, or that could be their parent, or whoever it is. Or we say there is no prayojanam doing this for this person because he doesn't show anything. He doesn't give me, he doesn't show me even, he doesn't thank me, he doesn't show any gratitude in his action or attitude. So these are the three issues that we see in these kind of arrangements. So what Shastra says is, do not bother. Do not bother whether your family people acknowledge you or appreciate you. Whether they acknowledge you, whether they appreciate you, whether they use expression, don't worry about it. Of course, you think it is a thankless job? Yes, it could be. In our culture, these are supposed to be your duties. You have to do. In fact, in our culture, we always take even the work that we do in our for our office. In our office is also duty. That's why if you see in those days, at least now we use this concept of work phone. Even in all these address books, we always have this work phone. But in those days, if you see a few generations back, whenever even when they were writing leave letters, they would say, I will be joining duty from. It could be just work. I'm joining an office, but they will use the word, I will be joining duty. The term duty, because we consider our actions as our responsibilities, as our duty. Whatever I am being assigned to, it's a duty for me. So our job, is also a duty. If somebody appreciates it, good. If somebody doesn't appreciate, fine. But what happens is, we always take a magnifying glass and we look for a minute defect. We don't appreciate others also. Somebody does cooking very well. We've been eating, whether it could be our mother or our spouse, we'd be eating from them. We would not be appreciating all these days. But if someday something goes wrong, we will find fault. We criticize. So what Shastra says is, do not have this expectation. Don't even expect appreciation. That is for expectation standpoint. But the same Shastra will tell us, wherever you are receiving from somebody, you appreciate. Wherever you are receiving something, you make sure that you keep you do your duty, and wherever you don't have a duty also, you show gratitude, you show appreciation. So this is what Shastra says. Now our culture is unique. It does not talk about rights. It only talks about duties. Why? Because if everybody does their duties properly, everybody's rights get fulfilled. If everybody does their duty, the others, they will get their right automatically. So our society is always a duty-based society. And Swami Dayananda Saraswati says, this is because wherever duty is emphasized, humility will come automatically. This is my duty, I have to do my duty. That humility will come. Whereas wherever rights are emphasized, then what will happen? This is my right. There will be ego, there will be fight, the courts will come, divorce will come, all these things will come. Because this is my right. That is how we look at things. Now, as I said initially, there is one thing that we talked about. I do my side of my duty properly. What happens if I do not get what is my right? What if the other person does not do their duty? What does Shastra say about that? Bhagavan says, Shastra says, don't worry. You will be given what you deserve in some way or other. How do I trust it? Shraddha. Ishvara Shraddha is very important. What happens if I do my duty for someone? The least I expect the other person to do is to thank me. Even if they don't do that duty towards me, at least they should thank me, they should praise me, keep remembering me, quote me in other discussions whenever they have with other people. Oh, this person did it for me. We sometimes take offense. I have done so much to this person has not acknowledged what I had done to that other person. So these are things that we do. And if that person does not do our duty towards us, we think our rights are getting snatched away. Bhagavan says, don't worry. To the extent that you have done your duty without any expectation. Key here is without any expectation. To the extent that you have done your duty without any expectation, I will promise, Bhagavan says, I promise I will give the benefit in some form to you. Suppose a person brings up all the destitute children, some people and orphans. He brings them to a person, comes to a place, educates them, feeds them, and then as if it is his duty towards the society. So he does it. Now what happens? The people benefit, those children or those people benefit, they grow up. They should have a sense of gratitude, and whenever there is an opportunity for them to help back, they should help. But suppose say they don't do, what happens? This person starts getting a feeling of hatred, dislike. So you will say, even after doing so much of good karma, the end result is the mind gets bitter. Shastra says, avoid that. You don't want to do good karma and in the end still have your bitter mind. So whenever you're doing your duty, do not have any expectation. So what is Karma Yoga? Karma Yoga is about doing our duty to the other person without having any expectation, or not having expectation, or on the rights that we have on that person, from that person. Whether that person does it, whether the other person does their duties or not, I will not bother. So now, then our question is, how can I forego this right? How can I accept this? Yeah, it is difficult, but Bhagavan promises that even if you don't get it from that person who is supposed to give you, it will come from some other person in some other form. Maybe not be the same form, but Bhagavan will make sure we will get what we deserve. So what should I have? I should have full faith, full Shraddha on Ishvara. And remember, I need not get it from the same person. The problem is, we always discount whatever we receive from others. We only look at people who are supposed to give us, but they have not given us. We only look at those as problem areas. So this is what Bhagavan says with regards to the duties. Now, the next question comes. For whom are we doing this duty? We have already made up our mind not to expect anything from the person who receives this duty. So for whom we are doing this duty, Bhagavan says, do it for Ishvara. Do it not for the other person. Do it for Ishvara. Bhagavan starts this sloka as Yajñartat karmano anyatra. Yajñartat. Here Yajñartat means Ishvara. For the sake of Ishvara. Yajñartat. Normally Yajna means ritual, and that too fire ritual. Here Yajna Artat means for the sake of Ishvara. Where is the pramana? Where is the how does Shankaracharya or Sampradaya Gurus assume that or take that Yajna here means Ishvara? Because in Vedas there is a sentence called Yajño vai Vishnuhu. Vishnu is Yajna. That's the pramana. So with that as the base, here we can say Yajña Artat means for the sake of Ishvara. Anyatra. Anyatra means other than. Other than for the sake of Ishvara. Yajñartat anyatra. Other than for the sake of Ishvara. Karmana. Karmana means action. Karmanaha. Karmanaha means action. So actions other than for the sake of Ishvara, what happens if we do not do for the sake of Ishvara? Lokoyam karma bandhanaha. Ayam loka. Ayam loka means this world. Karma bandhana. Karma bandhana means karma bandha. Bandhanaha means bound. Bound by actions. Actions bind this world. So actions bind this world except what? Yajnartat. Except Yajnartat. Except those actions that are done for Ishvara, all other actions bind us. Yajnartat anyatra lokoyam karma vandana. Other than the actions that are dedicated to Ishvara, all actions bind us. So Bhagavan says, the attitude that one must have to when we perform these actions is the attitude that we must have is Ishvara Arpana Bhavana. For what actions? Nitya Karma, Naimittika Karma, all those Niyatam Karma. All the actions we should do it for Ishvara. That's why when we do any kind of puja or anything, in fact, this is something to be done for any action that we do. We use this Mamopakta, Samasta, Durdakshiya Dwara, Shri Parameshwara Prityartam or Shri Narayana Prityartam. We use this word. We say Prityartam, for. We do it for Ishvara, for Narayana. I am doing this as an offering to Parameshwara. This is what inherently built in our culture. Now the question comes, why should I do it for Ishvara? Initially we wanted to do for something in return. Bhagavan said no. Then I asked, then any duty must be for someone. Because otherwise I can't do this action unless there is somebody whom it is meant for. So Bhagavan says, do it for me. Now the question is, why to Ishvara? Because when we do to Ishvara, the bhavana automatically comes. Whenever we do any action for Ishvara, there are varieties of emotions that come to us. Two of them stand out. One, Shraddha. Other is Bhakti. So remember, this Karma Yoga, do it for Ishvara, so that you will have Shraddha and Bhakti in whatever duties that we do. This is one sutra of Karma Yoga. More on this Karma Yoga, more on this Ishvara Arpana, understanding why Ishvara, how Ishvara orders, what is for gratitude, how do we expect, all those things we will see in the next class. Any questions or comments? Okay. If not, we will see again in the next class. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Sri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.